Day. Weather is in and out and up and down. It's freezing right now. Be nice later. Hope y'all are doing well. Hope Prowl doesn't get in the way today. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. It's time for the Revolution in the Morning show. I got Revolution Radio over here on the thing, and just a warning: if you hear crunch, 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 it's my dog. If I have to take his bone from him, he's no, don't take it. Look, he's like, I'm already talking about it. But anyway, as long as he chomps lightly, we'll be good. Maybe he'll just sleep back there with it for a couple hours. Who knows what's going to happen? Lots of news, information coming down and going out this morning. Boom! I hope y'all are doing well, man. Howdy. Let me send that out. Howdy out to everybody. Man, I am telling you, people are. Hey, it's idiocracy, man. I mean, have we arrived? Have we arrived at peak idiocracy, or no? We're just in the beginning of idiocracy. Really, I really think it is, man. So, yeah, oh man, I am telling you. God bless these idiots that run our government. I mean, beyond stupid, really. I mean, I don't know how any administration can claim to be anything but stupid today. Run by, the Pentagon and the deep state and the secrets of societies of America. I hear you. No, here, just give it to me. Here, let me have it. Come on. Good boy. No, I'm going to put it up to after the show, okay? It's okay, baby. Well, that didn't last long, did it? I'm sorry, puppy. Yeah. Anyway, he's gonna bug me all during the show. Where's my damn bone? Come on, where's my bone? Quit licking, baby. It's okay, honey. No, sit down. Just sit down. Good boy. Good boy. Good. Yeah, so I hope y'all are doing well. God bless you. We got the dog straightened out, and the bone has been confiscated. Never thought that would be a big production issue, but evidently it is. Well, I hope y'all are doing okay, and just get ready because Donald Trump is and the world are getting a they're getting a. Let me check Rev Radio, make sure that what if we got okay. We're not quite there yet on Rev Radio, but it's working its way through there. Oh man, so fill up your gas tank. Gas is going up $2-3 a barrel every day. So really, it's been up over. It's 56% increase since Donald Trump started his war. Amazing thing, isn't it? Yeah. So gas prices are back up to where stupid Joe Biden had them. CIA puppet Joe Biden. Remember, Joe Biden was just Agent Biden. Even his vice president with, Barry Sorrento as president down back there. Traitor 44. And Traitor, what was that? Trader 46, Pedo Joe administration, run by the FBI. Come on, man, let's be honest. I mean, who gets elected president telling black people, if you ain't black if you don't vote for the white guy, me. You got to hand it to Joe Biden. He's really good, man. Hey, good morning, Revolution Radio. God bless you. I get on a monologue, and hey, man, I just can't stop. I'm sorry. God bless you. All right, it's time for the Revolution in the Morning show. Come on down and join us over on rumble.com on revolution.radio. Don't forget, I think I have a Facebook tied in this morning, and, of course, locals.com. So come on down and join us. Let's get the straight truth, not this mainstream media bullshit that they keep. Hey, if we pile it on them higher and deeper, they'll never be able to get out from under it, and they can't see over it. I think that's the actual part of the actual thing that they're doing. As bananas as that might sound, okay? So, as we look, as we watch, oil is up to $113 a barrel as of this morning, and I'm sure it'll escalate, okay? Mostly because, well, the world is learning what a soft target is, okay? In Qatar, Iran attacked their liquid natural gas facilities, and it has literally sent shockwaves through the global energy markets. The Ukrainians have several hundred troops. I don't know how many these guys are in in one of these anti-drone batteries, where they use these, they use small drones that are, just high-speed chasers that literally blow up the, I gotta make sure I'm not rolling up there on the dog. But listen, shit is just fire. Don't forget that, basically, it's like a person laying on their back with their knees up, when you go up and you go down through the Hormuz Strait. And right now they're literally attacking Qatar, which is right across and on the belly of the beast, so to speak, of, it is certainly a shock, okay, I guess I should say, to world markets. But understand, as I talked about last week, the number of liquid natural gas tankers that, I think almost half of them were bottled up behind the Hormuz Strait. Meanwhile, the U.S. Navy, yes, the U.S. Navy says, well, yeah, we're not so sure. We're not so sure about how we can defend in the Straits of Hormuz. Yeah, that's what the U.S. Navy said. And I was laughing because, well, no shit. You don't have that wide of an area to maneuver, first off, okay? Second off, they're going to mine it. So, whether it is or isn't mined, you're going to have to know where the mine fields are, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I'm sure that they're not, that they're smart enough to to mine areas where people will be going to avoid the drones. So yeah. Now the laundry fire, aka a laundry fire, in the USS Gerald R. Ford, where the Gerald R. Ford is in the Mediterranean, I believe. And they what did they do? They fell back to Cyprus, where they could have what's the best way to say it? They could do ship repairs because they lost so many bunks and so many places where sailors would normally sleep. Okay, that's that's the um, that's the official story. Now, what the official story is, we really don't know. Okay, I'll be honest with you, we don't know 100% sure. Yeah, it could easily be, a laundry fire, but at the same time, because our where you at, baby? Oh, he's looking for his boat. Dog lost his crunchy bone, man. He's upset with me. But anyway, I hope y'all are doing well. So here, oh man. So the U.S. Navy said, "Oh yeah, man, about that going through the Gulf thing. We really not so sure about that. That oh yeah, U.S. naval escort won't 100% guarantee their somebody's safety. The paralyzed Hormuz checkpoint or choke point Charlie, I guess you could call it, is becoming a serious disruption. Just as the Suez Canal became a disruption back in, what was it, 56 or whenever, Arab War, whatever that was, oh, that's right. It was all about Israel again, wasn't it? Imagine that. It just seems like all of these wars are associated with Zionism for some reason. I'll leave that to you guys to bitch about. I'll bitch about it later, but not right now. Anyway, U.S. Naval Escort won't 100% guarantee your safety. That's what they said. So, yeah. Oil is now trading at $150 a barrel in Asia, except for the occasional sanctioned Iranian tanker. So demand destruction, they call it. When the price goes up and people say, man, I am not making that extra ride to the store. No, we're not going to ride around for 3 hours just looking and gawking at the West Virginia hillbillies. No, we ain't going to do that. We ain't going to ride up through the mountains and, no, don't have the money. Okay? It's going to be like that. You won't have fuel prices for airplanes is airline seat prices are going up supposedly. People are saying no, I don't think so. Somewhat. I guess I would say somewhat, but in a wow, I guess that is in an economic thing. When the economy crashes, I'm sorry, I'm usually doing really well during those time periods for some reason. Maybe it's just karma catching up and breaking over. But anyway, crude oil prices are going to go up, and liquid natural gas prices are going up. Donald Trump, of course, as we talked about a few days ago to last week, it was the Jones Act, I think it's called, or something like that, where where foreign tankers can transport goods between U.S. ports. You know, if you had something in Louisiana, Houston, down in the Gulf, you know, and you need to take it to Philadelphia, you actually had to have a U.S. Tanker do it, if you're talking about oil, or another U.S. flagged ship do it. Okay. So there, that's how that, you know, now they've suspended those rules. And everybody says, oh, that ought to really help. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Okay. 14 million barrels a day. Hitting on the price of fuel, or the price of everything petroleum related. Yeah. Now, if you're not aware, while the U.S. says they can't guarantee tanker safety, how many hundreds of miles of exposed pipelines are there? I'm just asking, out there across the desert. Okay. So yeah, remember Ukraine blew up the what'd you call that? The Nord Stream 2 pipeline. That sent prices for natural gas, and then of course for liquid natural gas, because it became the replacement as they cut off Russia because of the NATO war and the U.S. intelligence operation in the entire nation of Ukraine. I mean, let's be honest, from the beginning to the end, exactly what Ukraine is and all about, a failed Western operation, okay, that caused the Russians to literally, you know, have to use their military to stop the West. The U.S. Now has a policy of Israel first. Poor Ukraine feels, you know, like a red-headed stepchild. He's not getting any respect. I think he's pretty soon going to add some blue, so he'll be purple-headed, and then he'll be liberalized, and they'll love him. But right now, you know, the military and the intelligence services and all of the weapons are being funneled into the Middle East. Japan is kind of upset because we're taking interceptor missiles from stockpiles in Asia and sending them to the Middle East, okay? It is, well, crazy, all right? And so the attack on infrastructure, okay? 20% of global liquid natural gas exports originate from Gulf countries. So that's all been off of the taken off the market, okay? And you know, the truth is, these are these really Arab countries, or are these just bought out kingdoms of corruption? You know, when you look at all of these nations that are run by monarchies and kings across the Middle East, particularly those that are, you know, been set up by British and U.S. and French governments, and based on, you know, Wahhabism and a you know, Catholic Protestant kind of version of Islam, okay, with the Shia and the Shiite. I mean, each, you know, one says the other is a bunch of bastards, and the other says the others are lunatics, and they all worship the same whatevers. Regardless, okay. I mean, let's be honest, okay. Iranian drones and missiles caused heavy damage to Qatar's Ras Laffan LNG hub. Gas plants in Abu Dhabi shut down. Kuwaiti refineries were hit by drones. Saudi refining assets were targeted. These are the damage to upstream energy assets, such as production and LNG facilities. And this stuff is going to take months or even years to repair. It won't be like a pipeline that you might be able to fix in a day, right? So yeah, you can fix it. Push a pig through it, and there you go. A pig, that's like a big plug. They push through pipelines. Once they have them all together, they push them through pumping different places where they have pumping stations. And they have places where you can put pigs in and take pigs out. Okay? Really, they do. So anyway, and they have the smart pigs now. And they're really, they used to just look like a big bloated pig. And it was really just to clean out the pipeline. Now, the pipelines that I worked on were natural gas pipelines along the East Coast here, okay? And, we actually pumped it full of water and pressurized it. It had to hold pressure for 12 or 24 hours, okay? And it's really nice because generally, everything is pretty much, unless you have a blowout, it's generally you sitting there on standby waiting. And sometimes you build a fire under the big stubble end they put out the ground. Well, that helps keep the water pressure up in the pipe. Now all that's cut off, but anyway, I'm laughing about it because when you're doing that stuff in the winter and you get all that metal sticking out of the ground, anyway, it's crazy stuff I've watched in construction industries. Really. But I would say always have somebody that has the expertise of that field that you need to do that. If you need somebody to put a road in, don't have a carpenter or a pipeliner do it, okay? If you need a pipeline put in, it's a lot different than needing a plumber put in a line from your well to your house. Believe me, I understand. Don't have a carpenter do machinist work if they're not, I've seen so much idiocracy on the job site. It's really never bothered me much until I started seeing it while I worked in the nuclear power plant. Believe me, when you see idiocracy working inside the nuclear power plant, right out, right on the, right out around the dry well, around the core, all the pipes and air conditioners, and on the fuel floor, it was kind of amazing to stand there and look down into the top of a nuclear, what would you call it, the top end of a nuclear reactor. You're not looking at the core, but you're looking at the top end. That was some amazing technology. But like I said, man operates it, and people are idiots. They hire idiots. Here's a good example of what I mean. Okay, I was working as kind of an outside man for iron workers to help iron workers one day up on the fuel on the fuel floor. Literally where they, load the fucking reactor shit down in. And anyway, they have a guard up there, literally a guard, an armed guard. And it was in the middle of summer, and it was so hot and stifling because there was very little airflow in that zone. And my God, man, he was getting so sick. And they brought him this this red fruit nasty drink that they give people on job sites. Listen, if you think that red powdered Gatorade, whatever fucking shit that you give people, do you think that is quenching their thirst? I'm sorry, not on any day. But this guy, man, he was falling out, puking. He was having a heat stroke, and he had to stand outside and he was right inside of a tent, 6 feet from where he was. It was air conditioner. I had all electronic equipment, monitoring equipment in for the work that was going on down in the pit. It's like, God, dude, get in there, just watch. You can stand right there. He says, no, I cannot leave my post. And he was like passing out. I'm like, yeah, I'm having to call somebody down fucking stairs. Like, hey, dude, hey, can you get somebody up here with half a brain? I mean, just because they have a gun and they have a permit and they say they're a guard, you got to have more fucking on the brain than that when you're sitting there working literally the top end of a fucking of a nuclear power plant core. I mean, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is wrong with people? It boggles the mind. It boggles the mind. Idiots in America. I mean, I'm serious. You have to ask yourself, how did that motherfucker live that long? And how much longer will he live? Yeah, 8 stories up in a one guy 8 stories up in a what would you call it, in a coal burning power plant called Brunner's Island. Man, I'm telling you, people horse around, they goof around, they do stupid stuff, and kaboom! It's the question is, how the hell they not get hurt half the time of the shit they do? And you have to understand, our government, even at the level of Donald Trump and Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, okay? It's still the fucking Peter fucking principle in America and American politics, okay? You go so high, so you fail so fucking much, and nobody wants to demote you, because if they demote you, they'll look like an ass for appointing you in the position to start with. I am telling you, it is, pretty blown out the water. The fucking retardation that we see from our government, okay? Yeah. Where are we at here? Oh man, you think it's bad here? Wait till you hear the other shit that's going on, man. I am telling you. A former Air Force officer now claims, of course, and that UFOs, unidentified flying objects, disabled our U.S. nuclear weapons at a Montana base during the Cold War. In 1967, at Malmstrom Air Force Base, this guy said he was on duty, LGM 30 Minuteman 1 missiles. Said, they reported strange lights flying over the base. And then, well, let's just say that they said stopped suddenly above the missile facility. Minutes later, one guard called back in a panic, saying a craft was emitting a red pulsating glow. It was hovering near the front gate. Yeah, reported. I guess he was checking in from the future. Anyway, the guards had one of the guards had been injured during the incident. Does that mean he fell down and bumped his head? Anyway, so they said they were over near the launch facility. Anyway, so, these are recirculated rumors, remember, of aliens from space that have been interfering with, humanity. Yeah, I mean, in fact, hard telling how many people on this planet are really humans. I guess I wonder why, because so many of them are just big assholes instead of humans. I mean, they've been transformed. Talk about a trans person. I mean, really. How do you just erase everything you fucking in science so you can believe certain stuff? How can people just ignore cultural norms in certain parts of the world when it involves women and children and religion? And then scream and holler within a cultural context of in the Western world about misogyny and men and pregnant, barefoot and pregnant and staying in the kitchen and all this other liberal gobbledygook that they fucking used to pump, okay? Now you have fucking liberals that say it is okay to take your woman and literally cover them up with a fucking garbage bag and say it's a cultural norm. Everybody in the fucking world knows what the cultural norm is in that fucking Muslim style of society, okay? It doesn't take a fucking genius to know. That's what I would say to you, okay? It doesn't. It doesn't take a fucking genius to know that in the United Kingdom that Muslims are raping young white Christian girls because their fucking religion tells them to. Is the world just waking up to the where they had their heads stuck so far along the way? I don't know. I know it's happening in places. I know it's happening in the UK. I don't know if it's a bad thing to have terrorism, but it's a good thing that people become aware of the cultural norms that people face when Muslims live in their countries, okay? The change in the cultural norms, okay? Where, terrorism and jihadism and murdering and slaughtering those that are not of your religion, it's no different than fucking Judaism to me. So, listen, as far as I'm concerned, put the Jews and the Muslims in the same fucking cage, okay? Because they're a reflection of each other's evilness. And I just, I don't think that it has any place in Western society. A lot of people will never say that because, oh my God, we're going to fucking offend Muslims to start with. And oh my God, that's anti-Semitic, that's anti-Jewish, man, that's just fucking realism. If you don't understand what the religion of Judaism believes about others that are not Jews, then that's your failure. That's your fucking retardation in communication, okay? If you don't know and understand that there are groups out here, I'll say Muslims and Democrats, who believe that they're the old-time elite Confederate Democrats in America. They believe that they are up here and that me and you and the rest of society, all of us normies, are down here, are under their feet. That we are here for their use and enjoyment and abuse and to be used as a chattel and cattle and everything else. And I rise up and say, fuck you, motherfuckers, okay? This is America. All this fucking bullshit that Muslims talk about and do is all anti-constitutional. In fact, let's be honest, you know what? Oh, man. What Jews in New York do and in other places do as well, it's unconstitutional, okay? Because what they have done is they have instituted their discrimination and bias into law. And we know there's a lot of places across the fucking America where Jews and Muslims are essentially establishing their own laws. And literally the state authorities are so willing to sell the country out for votes so they can get elected. Because the truth is, you've created this entire region of discrimination and bias that you claim that, the KKK and the Nazis and the white people and blah, blah, blah. I mean, literally, it's those that are screaming the loudest seem to be, seem to be the culprits of most of it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And they're just shitty. They're just mad. They're mad. Why? Because people are holding them accountable. It's a lot of bad shit going on, and people don't want to take account for it. Okay, the United States doesn't want to take account for the shit that we've done in Ukraine. Really, we don't. Okay, I mean, Donald Trump is still being, is essentially sold out. And trying to become this legacy of peace. That's an absolute joke, ain't it? So yeah, it's crazy. So meanwhile, the questions that people are asking now is, oh my God. And where was I going? I'm sorry. I was getting some other news ready here, and bam, I missed what I was going to talk about. But there's just there's a lot of stuff going down. That's what I would say, okay? Here in the United States, I would be leery of what all unfolds within within the wars that are expanding now, okay? Because now, they say, They're talking about the war in Ukraine and now the war in Iran. And, everybody is ignoring and denying and hiding out from the war between Pakistan, a nuclear power, and Afghanistan, which they have a 2,000 mile or whatever, kilometer plus border on, okay, and through the mountains. I mean, we're talking about Pakistan literally bombing the Kabul, okay, bombing Kabul, and in retaliation. Nobody has. I haven't heard anybody really talking about that little doohickey war. Okay. So yeah, lots of stuff going on in the UK. As I said earlier, I don't know if Europe can fight back and restore Britain party. Wow, a new force in British politics waves an uncompromising vision of national restoration. Launched just weeks after as a full political party in February, Restore Britain has overtaken the Conservative Party in membership numbers and has reached 114,000 supporters and becoming the fourth largest party in the country. They say they vow to execute pedophiles, deport millions of migrants, outlaw incompatible cultural and religious practices. Oh, well, no fucking shit. But do you expect to clean up a London stand? I mean, I'm just asking. And that's right, I called it London stand, okay? As I said late last week or earlier this week it was, that the buses in London now mandatory carry stab kits, okay? In case anybody goes on just a random stabbing. I mean, let's be honest. Random stabbings in London are what? I guess is it the same as a machete attack? Is that considered a knife attack? I'm just asking because we don't have ludicrous laws like that here in the United States. But I do understand one thing. If you had guns for everybody in the UK, okay? If the British people had their guns, they would have already been defending themselves and their children from these rapists. That's all I'm trying to point out. Okay? The country is disarmed. And the people really, unless you go face to face, hand to hand, and a lot, remember, it's 5, 7, 10, a dozen to 1. Okay? Remember that part. So, you have to have an equalizer, I guess you could call it. Maybe that's why they disarmed all the Brits, because, well, they knew that the Brits wouldn't put up with it. If they had the right to the Second Amendment, okay. Of course, Brits don't have a right, I don't believe, to the Second Amendment. But that's just me, okay? One person says, we do not believe in conserving the system. We do not believe in reforming the system. We believe in revolution. So yeah, people in the UK are, well, they're pissed. And they're not going to put up with the fucking bullshit anymore. And that's what it's boiling down to. Here it is.
We have advanced the discourse on what that word, Britain, actually means. Not an idea or an administrative identity, not a piece of paper, but a people. A people who have been forgotten and spat on by our own government. A people punished for merely suggesting that they don't want to be demographically replaced in their own homeland. A people... A people who, on present trends, are set to become a minority in this country within 50 years. We are the bearers of the greatest civilization this world has ever known. And look at the bleak condition that we find ourselves in now. In every town that you go to, you will see graffiti.
I agree. But understand, this is an attack on culture, and this is the immigration invasion. Okay. It is this attempt to break down Western cultures and society. So because the truth is what the elite do not want. They do not want the tribal masses to literally get the wealth and the idea and the cultural identity of somebody in the West. Because this identity of freedom combined with, tribal patriotism, and that's what we have. When we went to World War II, and we went to World War I, and the country rallies behind the leaders. This is kind of patriotic tribalism that we're talking about. And, they do not want Africa to literally have that idea. They're so caught up in all this other stuff. So understand, since they literally can't bring everybody up and control it all, the World Economic Forum, the world elite from Davos, the Bilderberg Group, all those that worship Moloch. Anyway, these people believe that they are up here. And man, I am telling you, in so many places, they have decided that the culture has to be destroyed. Everybody has to be thrown back into the primordial pit of tribal hell. And Western society has pretty much risen above that, but the elite don't believe that everybody in the world can have the same dream, the same freedom like we have here in America. They know that is not sustainable. Okay, and because of the numbers that you're going to see coming from Africa in the future and India, as far as population. Now, China's population is in a different zone, so get ready. Residents in Rome have said enough is enough, and we're going to start to take homes into our. We're going to take our own hands and violence. We're going to take care of it ourselves. They're having a surge of homeless, migrant-driven violence. Brutal street attacks, leaving people hospitalized. And literally, it looks like a homeless San Francisco, except everybody's put a mattress up and just laid on out there. I know there are some places like that in California. I don't know how prevalent they are. Actually, here in the Roanoke, Virginia area. Right behind Fallon Park, right behind the Fallon Park Elementary School, the homeless set up an encampment down in the woods, and it's some pretty sick shit. That's what I'll say. I know somebody. Maybe I'll get with them and we'll go clean it up or something. Okay. So anyway, residents say we just can't live with the violence anymore. And if you can't live with the violence, then what do you have to do? You have to, let's just say, you have to remove the source of the problem. The source of the problem is, of course, the illegal immigrants, their makeshift shelters, encampments, and everything else. Yeah, this is cultural warfare by the elite. And what this does show is this puts people kind of in their place, doesn't it? It's kind of screwed up, but it does. Let's see what else we got going on here. Bump, ba-dum, bump. Australia has 1 month of energy left, gasoline and fuel. So be aware if you're over in if you're in Australia, you might want to figure out a way to secure yourself some petrol. Okay. If you use diesel, it's better. It keeps longer. It doesn't. The octane, I guess, the way it sets and stuff. So, if you can, you might want to stock up, okay? Or to figure out a way where you can make some alcohol, or, maybe you can make some ethanol. Going to have to water that moonshine down if you want to use it in your car, though, okay? That's what I'll tell you. So, yeah. Meanwhile, the U.S. government is still shut down as Democrats are still kind of saying no to the last piece of the budget, which has the ICE immigration control and enforcement budget in it, has the TSA in it. So it's been a serious problem. Trying to fly because of all the delays, because people they're calling off work, probably got part-time jobs, probably a lot of them are set to donating blood or plasma. You donate plasma, it's not blood, but yeah, I guess you can donate the blood, but the plasma, I mean, in all honesty, it sounds crazy, but you can make up to $800 a month selling your own blood plasma. Like twice a week, usually, every 5 days or whatever. Yeah. But it's a good way. You can make some extra money, but then just remember there's a lot of other people doing it too. So because of they might work for the TSA. They say lines are, 3 hours long waiting to get searched and patted down, and TSA, is having all that problem right now. Some airports says that their security is so stretched that they may shut it all down. It's so bad that Republicans have put out a bill that said that if congressmen, right now it's typical that because congressmen can be a security risk, if they're seen standing in line with normal people get normal people get angry at their congressmen because let's be honest, Washington's a clusterfuck, okay? Washington, D.C. is an absolute joke when it comes to, what's the best way to say it? When it comes to government functioning for the people. Not for the major corporations. Not for spooks or us that control government. Not for these high level crooks. Like let Jeffrey Epstein. What real fallout in the United States has come from the Jeffrey Epstein files? where the Mossad, the CIA, the FBI worked together in coordination and conspiracy to blackmail industry leaders, congressmen, presidents, and anybody, that was worth a shit, that they could, had some kind of a sexual fetish that they might be able to fulfill. Okay. So, no prosecutions, nothing from the Trump administration. Just we'll bomb Khomeini, we'll bomb Khomeini, and we'll bomb everybody that they name as the leadership until they cry Uncle Donnie Shekel. It's a sad state of government in America. It's pathetic, in all honesty. Okay. Maybe Donald Trump should change his name to Donnie Shekel. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. We're looking at Israel first, not make America great again. Donald Trump's setting up a fucking real estate office with Jared Kushner, basically, and this Witkoff clown in fucking the Gaza Strip. I mean, gullible, stupid on both sides of the political monopoly today. Of course, everybody's screaming and hollering, Mega's abandoning Trump. Well, maybe Trump abandoned America first. Maybe Trump was finally, dyed his hair blonde. Dyed his hair green, instead of just for St. Patty's Day, he just did it. All those briefings, meetings, and memos have essentially, altered this view. I think the other part of that is the going over on the ground and seeing and understanding the devastation, of the Gaza Strip, and then understanding or maybe not realizing, or listen, if you're at that high level in politics, you should understand that everything is a fucking Truman Show, okay? Everything you're looking at is rigged. It's all polished and polished. Its pervertedness is hidden. The homeless are driven away, put on a camp on the ground and somewhere in South Carolina. Hard telling. I mean, really, it's that fucked up today. Okay? Of what our government is and isn't doing. And that's a problem for America. I think I'm in the break. Nope, not quite yet. We'll hit it here in a second, but just remember that you do change the world, and we can. I think we have the tools and opportunity, and we can make it happen, I believe. That's what I have to say about that. So anyway, turmoil in Washington, D.C., turmoil on Wall Street, turmoil in the banking industry. So, 30%, 1/3 of TSA officers now are calling out at 3 major airports. Like I said, congressmen should not be moved to the head of the line for quote-unquote security reasons. They should be forced to stand in the 3-hour line just as everybody else in America. Okay? That's one of the things that we see coming from Democrats and Republicans. We're in the break. I'll be right back on Revolution Radio. So, it is, it's bananas at large. Oh, never mind. That's a group. That's a local group, I think, here in this region, Roanoke Valley region. But I don't know if they're still together. They were an older group. But anyway, yeah, it's crazies, man. It's wow. Uh, let's see. Here's this article that I wanted to talk a little bit earlier. They talk about the New World War. I mean, and they're just talking about Ukraine and Europe. Remember Ukraine. Remember Ukraine wanted to, Europe wants to jump into Ukraine like yesterday. Um, this the war has been so romanticized, and the reality and the brutal reality of the drone wars that we're going to see today. um let's just say it's bringing a new level of destruction on the battlefield, okay? Because of here, I'll just this is hopefully this is close to full, but just something that about this big, about this thick, a block of C4 explosive. If you've never dealt with that stuff, okay, um, you don't understand the how powerful some explosives are, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that you can make a shape charge and put it on a drone, put it, drop up mortar shells from a drone if you chose. But you can create these suicide drones fast and easy. Not these, not these 6, 7 foot drones, that they're making in China as fast as they can for Iran. At least that's what they say they're for Iran. But I would say they're ramping up their own drone fleet to take out Taiwan. Okay, um, because that would be the first thing. But remember, these drones are going. They're going from Iran all the way to Israel, all the way to Qatar. Now Qatar's closer because it's right across the water in southern Iran, but you still have to get all the stuff to Iran, all the components and all the everything. So yeah, let me check back here and check over here on this. Okay, just checking on the Revolution Radio break. But yeah, I couldn't imagine what the energy crisis and fuel rationing would be like in Australia. So yeah, uh, just be aware, okay? Direct petroleum imports are not the biggest problem for Australia. 15% of their oil comes from the Hormuz Strait, but understanding that other countries where they get oil from, their imports, total, from the Hormuz Strait, and refined petroleum, oil, gas, natural oil, or natural gas and stuff like that. Be aware that that stuff is wow. Hmm. There's a finite supply, and while it goes around, it passes through peoples, and that people end up using the end product, but it didn't come directly to them. So oh yeah, it's boom. It's a sheer crazies. Hey, I see spiritual anarchist Dan's over in Studio A. That's cool. That's good. I'm glad we finally got get some more stuff going on here in the mornings at Revolution Radio. If you want to start your own show, don't forget, come on over and join us. Get on Discord and come over and send a message to Willow or Monster or Mitch, anybody on the management team at Revolution Radio. Hey, yeah, yeehaw, welcome back, Rev Radio. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get down here and get back into news. And, well, I've been just putting the motor mouth in, I guess. Iran says it busted up 100 pro-monarchist cells. Yeah, let's bring back the Shah of Iran Jr. son. He's not handpicked by the Kraken America boys, is he? Or do they want to become Kraken Afghanistan? I mean, really. Anyway, yeah, listen. All of this meddling by the West in the Middle East, well, everywhere, okay, is how should I say it? Is delaying the evolution of these tribal and cultural systems into a broader what you would call it, a broader enlightened community. Because when you're at war, you stay entrenched. You buckle down, And when you're getting bombed, and it's not just you, it's your whole region. I mean, let's be honest. It's the same thing that's going on down in Argentina right now. Argentina, no, not Argentina, excuse me. In Venezuela. Where Venezuela, the new president, woman president or whatever, does anybody really expect Maduro to go back to Venezuela? Not. So she has had a purge of her upper military structure, and I guess of people within and around the government. So that purge is happening now. Will that limit and shut out, the influence from America through the Venezuelan government? I don't know. I think we have so poisoned the pot, so to speak, and that's why Maduro rose to the position he was in. Okay, I think we do the same thing in a lot of other Latin American countries, and we create our own problems the same way we create our own jihadists over in the Middle East. The same way we're creating the shitstorm across the central and north of Africa. I can't see how people don't realize it. All these powers that are supposed to be so smart and everything else, and they do not realize the rise of violence and the destruction of societies as the world slides backwards, not forwards. And, let's be honest, liberals aren't helping. I mean, liberals are trying to bring in, communism, basically, okay? So anyway, it is a tough thing to determine in a free society, I guess, is one of the things we're having, okay? Now, Donald Trump is questioned as did he actually doom the SAVE Act? I think they're having another round of discussions and talks and whatevers today. The latest Harvard CPS Harris poll, support for the legislation clocks in at 71% from independents and even a sizable chunk of Democrats, okay? 8 in 10 Americans want states to clean non-citizens off their voter rolls. that only citizens should be able to vote in U.S. elections. Now, the truth is, this is half-stepping election fraud security. Okay, an identification, big deal. Okay. We know that tens of thousands of people in Michigan and Wisconsin don't exist. We know that they only exist on an old driver's license that was counterfeited in China, and that somebody has essentially been using this false ID, registered to vote, and they vote for, Joe Biden, vote for Democrats, basically, okay? To say that it is happens by accident would, just be a big lie, okay? And Democrats want you to not understand what all is going on, okay? So anyway, in some places it was said that in the 2020 election, the ballots that were returned, when ballots are sent out in mail-in ballots, they're returned. And, most of the time, people have moved on and long ago, and they're still getting mail-in ballots at this address. So they go back, and, there were actually people at the post office that were filling those ballots out and then, really just sending them back through the postal system. The corruption by Democrats is unbelievable. And, you really can't trust any of it. And that's part of the reason they do it, is because they want to make everything, well, literally untrustworthy. Okay? They want government to have the people to have no trust in whatever government may or may not tell them. Government has done a lot for themselves for this, okay? I mean, really, I'm just saying, okay? Donald Trump and his Golden Dome. Wow, the Golden Dome. Ooh. Yes, Donald Trump wants to build an iron, like the Iron Dome in Israel. He wants to build a golden dome across the United States for nuclear wars, intercontinental ballistic missiles, and such. It's man. It's of course it's a defensive shield that creates more. How should I say it? Higher chances of war, I guess is what I'm saying. People are more polite if they're not standing, behind a shield or behind a bulletproof wall or whatever, versus they're standing out in the open, talking shit, all right, to other countries, telling them what to do. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, now it's supposed to be only $185 billion to build a missile shield across the United States. Well, tickle me funny. That's just a couple Somali fraud syndromes, okay? I mean, if we stop Somali fraud and other fraud in California and Minnesota and Maine, we could probably raise half of that right now. We could probably make up $90 billion, that essentially, retards have stolen from people that say, are you going to vote for me? Well, not if you don't give me this, that, and 3 bags of chips and a Mercedes-Benz. Yeah, I guess everybody listens to that old Janis Joplin song, and, they're all coming to America and praying for their Mercedes-Benz. Sad thing, isn't it? Yes, it really is. What else we got going on here? What's breaking right now? News this morning. Let's see. Trump threatens to blow up the world's largest gas field. But U.S. distances U.S. from Israeli actions. Man, did Donald Trump just become an anti-Semite? Yeah, I mean, what the fuck is wrong with people? I mean, they can't make up their minds on, which side of evil. I'm on that side of evil or I'm on this side of evil. Really? I mean, and that's the fucking problem when you go to the Middle East and you choose Muslims or Jews. You choose fucking evil versus evil, and guess what? When you choose to fight with the evil, saying against a bigger evil, makes you evil, motherfuckers. Anyway, Trump dials up his threat, seeking leverage, denying approving the Israeli Pars strikes. That's right, where Israel expanded the battlefield to the Caspian Sea, where Israel attacked Iranian military or naval vessels on the Caspian Sea. Okay? So, yeah. However, reports from Wall Street Journal, Axios say the White House was aware and notified of those attacks. The energy war hits a breaking point. Tit-for-tat strikes are now directly targeting Gulf energy infrastructure. No shit. What did you expect to happen? Saudi trust in Iran is completely shattered. Really? You mean Mohammed bin Salman, major bullshit, who got, as soon as he got into power, he called all the fucking sheiks in and hung them up by their feet and beat the motherfuckers with a bamboo stick. I ain't fucking stupid. Give me your billions, pledge loyalty, or I'll fucking kill you right here. I got plastic out on the floor in case you bleed on the fucking, you can't bleed, evidently, you can't bleed on the carpet at the Riyadh Ritz, at the Ritz in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. In the royal room, okay? Where they probably put in a heated what do you call that? A heated ceramic floor. Big beautiful tiles. That way the blood's easier to wash up when you behead them when you're hanging them, man. I mean, everybody think Dark Ages. And understand that's how these guys really operate, I mean, they live as if it's 1,000 years before Christ with fucking cell phones. It's bizarre. It's truly bizarre. And you know what the worst part is? You got, you've got two sides of the same evil coin, and for some reason, it's something that the West has not learned, just to leave that devil lie in the dirt. Don't pick up that coin, okay? Don't embrace that rotten ideology. It's like communism, right? I mean, used to be communism was just kind of a political ideology, but now it's become this whole national socialist ideology of retardation nation shit. It's crazy, man, I'm telling you. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, threatened to blow up Iran's crown jewel gas field if Tehran dares hit Qatar's LNG infrastructure again. Well, that's like telling Donald Trump not to do something. What's the first thing he's going to do? He's going to turn around and do it. I mean, really. I mean, at this point, everybody's just got their balls up on the table, playing whack-a-nut, okay? And some people are hitting some people in the head, some people are hitting them in the groin. It's crazy, okay? And as this thing starts, understand that a heavy air war against energy targets is going to spread. It will be more than a tit for tat thing, okay? Because when you look at it and you understand it, you're talking about 40% of the world's energy supplies literally going offline for a year or two. It is as if they had an electromagnetic pulse and it literally shut down everything in those zones, even though it's just a paralyzing effect of, let's just say, a Zionist war. Now, I would tell you that it will not be but a few weeks to a few months before Israel claims that Hamas has reorganized itself because it's allowed to come into the Gaza, because Palestinians are allowed in the Gaza Strip, and that will come that the Israelis will start and they will push all the Palestinians south to the South Gaza, and then partition it for Israelis to settle and to take all those villages, all those lands, all those pieces of rubbles, and displace the Palestinians. Because at this point, it's nothing is going to stop anybody from doing anything that Israel just is going to do. They're going to claim this eminent domain, this greater Israel model that God has deemed this to them, and they're a bunch of sick motherfuckers. I'm sorry, people don't want to say it, but one of the things that we found out, about that Christians found out about religion, all branches of Christianity in the past, of how wrong some of these religions are. But that's just coming from me, okay? What else we got going on here? Dang it. No sign of the end of attacks. Now, also, understand, the U.S. is sitting there watching India, watching China, watching other nations make side agreements with Iran to continue pushing oil through the Gulf under the permission of Iran. That could be the worst possible scenario for the Trump administration, that essentially turned the Hormuz Strait into a giant toll booth where only those that Iran say are allowed to pass. Okay, this is another reason why Donald Trump is threatening to blow up the gas fields and other energy infrastructure in Iran, because at this point the strategy of Donald Trump and the CIA had in Iran. Now remember all the targeting, all of this strategy stuff is being run by AI and is being run through the Mossad, then the Pentagon. to the Israeli Defense Force, and then to the United States. That's all I'm trying to say is you can't trust any of it. Just putting the truth out there, okay? So, yeah. Wow, civil rights icon Cesar Chavez's family. Officials react to sexual assault accusations. Texas is the first state to cancel its official state holiday honoring Chavez after an investigation into alleged assaults was published. Yeah, I can't wait till, California, Washington, and Oregon, throw out their Mao Zedong holidays. Yeah, I mean, these motherfuckers say, still say Heil Shanghai Shek. Hey, maybe that would be a good new, just a joke slogan about all these guys. Hail Shanghai Shek. It's a sad state of affairs. Yeah. UK lawmakers seek a moratorium on crypto donations to political parties. The committee cited growing foreign state threats and efforts to influence the UK's positions on critical issues, including its relations with the US, the European Union, and Ukraine. Oh my. Listen, the failed Fabian state, George Orwell's tampon strip. That's how I look at this poor country today. It is a poor, poor country. And that when the war breaks out, those living in isolated pockets will not, will be hit with this sudden surge of where the hell did all this come from? It's been, lightly dodgy. It's never been like this dodgy. It's never been completely fucked. And that's the problem. It's been completely fucked. It's just it's not completely fucked everywhere. So everybody at all at the same time. And when you live in a Muslim society, that's what you get. A failed UK private-based lender, MFS, and Parj Raj, yes, R-A-J-A, Paresh, I guess is how you pronounce that. Anyway, evidently Paresh is running a worldwide Ponzi scheme. That's right, anyway, worldwide asset freeze. He was in the UK, and then he fled to Qatar. Now that Qatar and the UK have literally seized his bank accounts and his monies, he has fled to, an undisclosed, unknown location, probably carrying as many gold bars as he can with him. But yeah, it's plain as day. That's what I would say. World Health Organization, that's right, convenes a global session to dictate how the coming influenza pandemic will be run. Foreign pandemic governance cartel? Yeah, I'm sorry. I am not going to participate in that retarded, another, act of self-retarded acclamation, okay? Where you have to pretend to be retarded just to put up with the policies of these so-called idiots that are in control, okay? everybody who knows anything about masks knows that wearing a mask is an act of enslavement, not in the case of viral or bacterial biological diseases. Wearing this so-called, N1 mask or whatever the fuck they want to call it, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. I've worn those masks, the high quality masks, doing asbestos removal, doing some dirty, nasty jobs where they do require serious respiratory protection. I've worked in a bubble suit in a nuclear power plant, in a bubble suit, on an airline. And worked in, with all kinds of masks and full masks, half masks, all from top to bottom. Okay? And I can assure you from my work experience, these so-called paper masks and all this fucking shit that they sell you in the store is junk. It cannot and will not protect you. And if you get a mask at the store and you read the back of the box, it tells you it does not protect you from COVID. It does not protect. If it can't protect you from COVID, what can it protect you from? It can't even protect you from somebody's fart smell, okay? If you don't have a charcoal filter on it that way. But I'm just saying, all right? Those that claim to be experts, that drive policies, most of the time they're talking out their fucking ass and they're full of shit. It's not helpful because people die. Lots and lots of people die, as they did in the the COVID pandemic intube people syndrome. Okay. And those motherfuckers, that's mass murder to me. Okay, I'm sorry, I just look at it as mass fucking murder. 200,000 immigrant truck drivers begin losing their licenses under Trump's new admin rule. About fucking time. Way too fucking slow. If these guys that don't speak English and that kill people because they're the third world troglodyte driving a truck for $1 billion company so it can save 20 or 30 bucks an hour, or whatever, by hiring some schmuck from India or Pakistan or who in the fuck knows where. Yeah. People aren't aware of how every industry in the United States has become a place where contractors and corporations are hiring people from overseas before they're hiring Americans. I'm just saying. It's not just tech nerds, that programmers and stuff that people want to bring in, that we've heard complaints about for years. Okay. We in America, we've learned to have the expectation of farm workers come in and pick the fucking shit in the fields in America. That I guess American workers aren't fucking good enough, or they're too lazy to do it. I don't believe that is a reason to import labor, though. an indentured servant, an indentured slave to come in and work, and in some places at lower rates than what normal people get paid in the United States. Now, that's not the norm, but I'm just saying. And immigrant truck drivers, and then illegal immigrant truck drivers, and truck drivers coming in under work visas and H-1 visas and all this other stuff. The policy bars asylum seekers, refugees, participants in DACA, Deferred Action of Childhood Arrivals, under Obama, where they tried to make the illegal children legal in America. But it's not. It's just exposing the failure of the fucking system. That the people with children that weren't sent back fucking fast enough because their kids grew up to be American children. After 5-10 years or more in America, you want to send a kid back to Mexico where they never fucking really don't remember living? I understand the cultural stuff. All I'm saying, it's a complete failure of government. It's a complete failure of our democratic systems to have a quick and efficient deportation system. But this is what happens when you have Fabianism come in and essentially trying to fix the world's ills by believing that they all deserve asylum in the United States because where they come from is not as good as where, as here in the United States. But if you go to some of the communities in some of our big cities today, I don't even know if illegal immigrants want to move there. I don't even think it's as I think it's worse than the countries that the so-called illegal immigrants are fleeing from today. That the degradation in U.S. society and U.S. culture in the urban areas in America, in the big cities, we have seen a complete crash in culture. Oh, that's on that's evidence on steroids right now. Coming up this week and the next few weeks, spring break in America, where all the little kiddies believe they run into Miami or Daytona Beach or Cancun or some other place, and they can sow their wild oats like they're an 18-year-old Amish boy. Okay. Reports coming out that the crowds and the shootings and the arrests and all the drunkenness is over the top yet again in the spring break zones. Okay. In fact, there's a lot of places that in the past were spring break zones. They were nice when people behaved themselves. When it didn't literally become a mob fight for hundreds of yards, as different people take up after others stop. It's a bizarre world, and who in the hell wants to live in that shit? I don't. Man, I had enough stupidness in my life. Can't we just have some peace and tranquility? I say that, but I only expect it to happen in all honesty. Yeah. Oh, wow. All this news, bad news, good news, is giving me, some indigestion. Vance embraces the fraud czar role as Democrats plan to make it a 2028 liability. J.D. Vance's first job as fraud czar will be investigating Trump and his family. Well, I guess that's a Democrat wet dream, but I'm sure Democrats are going to request that, and I'm sure Democrats are going to suggest that. Okay. However, Democrats are up past their eyeballs in fraud and sustaining fraud for political campaign donations and campaign leverage, and of course, votes on the ground. That's what we really know is going on in these communities that vote as a tribal bloc. There is clear and compelling evidence that busloads of people essentially come, or entire congregations come to the voting booth, and the IM goes in the voting booth, and one by one, all of the followers from the community, all of the tribe, go into the voting booth one by one with the IM, who essentially votes for them because he is their leader, he is their king, and these are subjects. And they listen. That's this is things that people haven't even grasped yet. Okay. That a lot of the cultural, tribal things, literally, their people are enslaved and entombed and entribed. Maybe that's a good reason, a good description of it. Entribed, like entombed, and everything they have is the family. It's worse than the mafia. Okay. I mean, at least the mafia, your women didn't, dress up like they were garbage bags. They may have worn black at a lot of funerals, but yeah. So Democrats believe that this is going to work out for them, that they can hang this around an investigation against Trump by Vance as this trying to establish a battle within. Yeah. Anyway, it's sheer crazy. Remember, Kamala Harris rejected becoming the border czar, and kind of blew that aside and minimized it. When the truth is, she could have taken control, but the truth was, it was this trap that was set by the president and his advisors and all this other stuff. Because let's be honest, do you think Trump came up with the idea of the vice president being a czar that looks into fraud? I'm sorry, but that's just plain fucking stupid. Shouldn't that be a nationwide special prosecutor with powers across a fucking entire United States? Not some political appointment for fucking J.D. Vance. I mean, listen, this is a clusterfuck of bullshit for this Marine. I'm sure he knows it. And if I was J.D. Vance, I would sit there and I said, okay, so if I'm going to be this fraud czar, I need 3 or 4 special prosecutors in different regions of the United States, so I can go after peoples. And these are the pit bulls. These are the motherfuckers that I want that are going to go in and pull the plug on these sons of bitches. If J.D. Vance should come up here and say, look, if we're going to do this, we need to have a special prosecutor. We need to have somebody that can indict people when we find a fraud. We cannot have this 6 month, 6 year, whatever, decade long process of some blonde bimbo playing attorney general and some retard to fucking playing effing Bastard Incorporated, playing Kingpin at the FBI. We got all fucking everything Trump has tried to do has been tied up in what? Jewish paperwork. That's a fucked up way to put it, but that's just the truth, okay? It all boils back to the Epstein fraud, the Epstein files, the Mossad, and fucking Israel. The wag the dog, the wag the mutt, the wag the bullshit, and it all goes down. And J.D. Vance, essentially, they gave him a fraud czar role without any teeth. And this is why J.D. Vance should set up, look, I need this, this, and this. And then J.D. Vance should go to town investigating fucking fraud. And he should go around James Boasberg. In fact, I would make James Boasberg, the fucking crooked federal judge in Washington, D.C., one of my targets. Still questions going on in Congress and within the Justice Department of what is going to be done with the dozens and dozens of congressmen who literally created nonprofit organizations, use their political influence to essentially get grants circled back around to them and their staff and their pet projects. Pay-to-play system is ripe. J.D. Vance has a chance. If he says, I want a special prosecutor, I want some fucking people under me that are going to have the teeth and they're going to have steel-tipped boots. Because when we come along and we find somebody, we're going to kick them in the fucking balls and we're going to take them to prison. This public corruption is not going to continue. Okay? So yeah. Boom. That's right. Oh, come on. Dang nabbit. Got hit with a pop-up. Silver spot price dumped. Tanked. Okay. $68.67 an ounce right now. That's down 18% from last week. So that's $15.90 off the spot price of, I guess, just a few days ago. So yeah, be aware of what is going down, and that silver's crashing as of Thursday. Like I said, it's down to $68, down $72 at yesterday. Oh, that was this morning. Wow. It's taken a big crash today. Now, exactly why, I don't know. Doesn't make a lot of sense unless it's all the pump and dump, and now the oil. Now all the money has moved out into the oil and natural gas sectors to make double, triple, quadruple profits. We now know beyond a doubt that in 2020, the Chinese were, how should we say it, interfering with the election in 2020. Okay, by April of 2021, I believe it is, or excuse me, in January of 2021, it was there was evidence of China meddling. It was downplayed because of everybody hated Trump. So the FBI found evidence of China interfering with the election in 2020. But because everybody had Trump derangement syndrome, because listen, we have to believe what the mind controllers say. No, we don't.
China might be intervening in the U.S. election, getting fake driver's licenses and fake ballots so they can help Joe Biden win. And what does the FBI do with that one? It says, circular, we're going to throw it in the garbage can. That is the FBI in 2020. It was just as bad and maybe even worse under Chris Wray than it was in 2016 under Comey. The mindset was not crushed, and it became more emboldened in 20. And then in 21, 22, you see how emboldened it is when they get to Arctic frost. This cancer kept spreading, it kept metastasizing, and more people thought it was okay to settle political scores under the power of government color. And I think that's the cancer we're now fighting. And it's more deep-rooted today than it's ever been. There's been a lot of, progress made in firing and moving people, but there are agencies we don't even talk about, like the National Archives, that were in on this. They were helping this machinery to crush MAGA, create the MAGA dragnet and crash the MAGA movement. And we have a lot of work to expose who all those people are. We're hardly.
So, we're just scratching the surface, while I've been talking about, Obamagate. I'm talking about the political war against Donald Trump. We have to understand that Donald Trump, while he knows there is a political war against him, he can't even comprehend the psychological war and the assets that have been deployed against the fucking president of the United States of America to get him to be on board with all of this shit, okay? I believe some presidents are outright bought. Others are influenced into positions. Others are, outright brainwashed into positions. There is this entire gambit of political sellouts that we have today. And this is another reason why, after Joe Biden, being the puppet president of the CIA, this is another reason that you see a green light of these intelligence officials going into the political spectrum and pushing themselves to the top of the political fields. And they get there by lying. And they have so lied to the people here in Virginia, Democrats, that every special election that Democrats were favored to win beforehand, they've lost 2 out of 3 to date, okay? Democrats are reeling because everybody is they being exposed as liars here in Virginia. So yeah, it is sheer crazy. That's what I would say. All right, this trap for J.D. Vance, and it is a trap. He'll be all right. I just say, as I said, crazy. What's his name? Not Adam Schiff, Peter Schiff, the gold man. Okay. He says this war is going to cost a lot of money we don't have, and it's going to come to a gas station near you. Well, imagine that, okay? You don't realize it. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, okay? The U.S. dollar is the petrodollar. If countries start paying in yuan to get around, that takes the dollar, down a notch, right? If the U.S. is sitting there and letting other people trade currency out of the U.S. dollar over into another currency, even if it is, for this temporary thing to keep the war going, it's like everything else. Nothing is ever temporary. everything becomes permanent because they have to have the workaround, so to speak. Okay. But Peter Schiff is concerned about money. And we have already crossed. We have officially crossed. Yay! Yay, 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 yay. So we got 5 minutes left. We're going to give the dog a bone. We're going to give the dog his bone back, okay? I'm just warning you right now, okay? Because I took it from him earlier. Here you go, little doggy. Since we can party, it's party time, man. That's right, $39 trillion. It's official. It's official. Yay! Everybody go out and afford to get drunk. That's right. The United States government crossed that line. $39 trillion in debt. Yeah, remember the fucking retarded politicians said months or said years ago. Now, said years ago. This was Chuck Schumer. These are these mathematical geniuses in Congress, They said we're going to start and turn it down, and we're going to cut it away piece by piece, and we'll have it going. The budget and the deficit will all be kind of going downhill. It'll all be going down when it hits $50 trillion in debt. Does anybody really believe that? I mean, do these politicians even believe the fucking shit that they said before? This political monopoly of fucking moronic shit? God bless them. I mean, they can't help but to keep lying. I mean, really. Hey, oh God, surprise! Surprise, more dirt, more documents coming out on who? On this clown called Jack Smith and his fishing expedition from the Biden Department of Justice. I still like to know why, like Merrick Garland and hasn't been, hauled into fucking prison yet. But evidently, Jack Smith was spying on everybody. The EPA Administrator Lee Zedlin, Matt Gaetz, Mo Brooks, Paul Gosner, Louis Gohmert, Jody Heiss. I'm sure Jack Smith was also trying to get Heidi Fleiss. Maybe he needed a rug and a tug and a pool. I don't know. I was laughing yesterday. Judge John Roberts, the chief judge over at the Supreme Court, was whining and crying about the justices and about how people are giving the judicial system a bunch of flack. They don't follow their own rules. These people are literally breaking the pieces of the Constitution and they get away with it because they're in Democrat districts run by retards. I mean, Democrats and for Democrats. And if you're a conservative or if you're a Republican or if you're in that district of criminals, kaboom, bang, you get stripped right out. You have no rights, okay? And remember, this is the Democrat tyranny that they don't want to tell you about, all right? They literally want to have thugs in the streets and have you defenseless and depend on the government. This is the society moving forward. Well, everybody, thanks for listening today. We'll see you tomorrow morning on Crazy Ass Fridays on the Revolution in the Morning show. We'll be checking out here. I'm checking out right now over here at Rev Radio. Thanks, everybody. God bless you. So yeah, we checked out over there, and now we're right here on Rumble and all the other platforms yet. So it's wow, it's just a lot of shit going down, man. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your powder dry, and be aware. That's the best we can do right now. Take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless. Good day and good luck.